Hey folks, welcome back to Excel 10 Minute Leaders Live. We're turning our attention now to the world of startups. My name's Graham Brown. Joining us to be our guide into this world is Zac Stern, joining all the way from Los Angeles. Zac, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
It's great to have you here. So, VC turned startup founder. That's an interesting turn of events. It usually goes the other way around, doesn't it? But you're doing
It
different.
does. It does.
Okay,
I was a little lucky.
lucky, I like that. All right, good. So, we've got 10 minutes together. Are you ready, Zac?
I am.
All right, let's do this then. So, do you have a business card as a startup founder? If you do, what does it say on it? If not, what would it say on it?
I do have a business card and it actually says head intern on it. So I bootstrapped my company from the beginning. Even though I was in VC, it was something where I had to kind of bootstrap it from the start. So I actually hired a few interns to work with me. And I'm relatively young myself, so I didn't want to call myself the CEO. Instead, I decided to call myself the head intern to really build kind of morale and community within the company. And it worked for kind of all the interns. And it got to the point where everyone kept asking who the CEO was, and I eventually had to tell them that it was me.
Yeah, I'm sure people probably reacted quite strangely to that as well, didn't they? That the interns probably loved it, but some people
They
were
loved
probably
it.
taken aback.
They were, but at the end of the day, they realized that we were building a community, and that was kind of our
Hmm.
main goal. So anyone I was talking to knew who I was in relation to the company. Luckily, so
Hmm.
it wasn't that strange for them.
Got it. So the company is what?
The company is official. Basically, what I realized is I didn't want to focus in the dating space. I wanted to focus on the relationship space. So instead of actually focusing on helping you find someone, we focus on helping you keep someone.
Hmm. What is the difference? Explain to me. I mean, I can understand it from what you're saying, but there's probably more of a deeper nuance there, isn't there?
Yeah, so if you think about a traditional dating app, you realize that the dating app and yourself have different incentives. So if you were on a dating app, you'd see that you are both the customer, but also the product. So what that
Hmm.
means is when you're actually using the dating app, your incentives are aligned. Because if you match and leave the app loses customer. But that's what you want. So
Hmm.
an app is actually incentivized to gamify the relationship and actually make it so that you stay on the app as long as possible and not actually reach your goal. That's why you see Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, and all these kind of subsidiaries of Match, Spark, or Bumble really are all one or the other. The average dating app user is on more than two dating apps at a time. And I didn't want to focus on that. I wanted to focus on kind of what comes next because I knew I wouldn't be able to help someone actually find their needle in a haystack better, but I would be able to actually show them what's out there and help them do more with their partner.
I'm curious with those traditional dating apps is in what way do they incentivize you to come back? They've obviously got a vested interest in making you come back for
Yeah,
the advertising and the money, right? But how do they actually make you do that? If you meet the woman or partner of your love, of your life, then surely you don't need the app anymore. Or do
I
they have it
completely agree.
different?
I completely agree with you, but that's why you see Bumble going down the work and the friends route now, because Bumble's trying to convince you, even if you find your lover, you can now find your best friend. And personally, I
Hmm.
don't think that makes sense because if I were to find my partner, even if I say I'm okay with it, there's still that negative association with the fact that my partner could be looking at others on the app. So because of that, I think it's a flawed model, and it's something where they aren't really incentivized and they aren't really trying to keep users long term unless the user doesn't actually reach their goal, at which point they just stay and swipe aimlessly, almost as if it is a game.
Hmm.
40% of users on dating apps never send a message. And that's because they see it as a game at this point. They just swipe left and right before they go to bed because it's fun.
Hmm.
It gives them validation.
It's the mindless scroll, isn't it, that we've seen
It
on
is.
other apps?
It
The
is.
fruit machine that keeps you gamifying your attention, keeps you on screen.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you focus on partners or do you focus on friendships? How does it work
We
with your app?
we focus on partners. So we focus on you and your partner. You join the app together, and then we focus on a few different things. One key insight that I realized is that therapy is something that's very accepted in today's day and age. Yet couples therapy still has a stigma around it. So we work with a couples therapist kind of on our board, and we actually are working on building in different aspects of couples therapy into the app. But we call it a social media platform because if we
Hmm.
call it social media, then no one questions it. You can be on it, and there's no difference. If we call it a couples relationship platform or a couples therapy platform, then it's a self kind of problem identification. You don't really want to identify that you have a problem. You want to identify that you're on social media. So that's why we frame it as a social media platform to find fun.
So couples join the app together, or do they join to meet people on the app, or do they
So they join
join
together.
individually? How does it work?
They join together. So you come to us, and then we have you invite your partner. We link you and your partner on the back end of the app. We show that you're in a relationship. We keep track of how long you've been in a relationship for, and then we actually let you swipe left and right like you would on a traditional dating app, but not on people, on different places, things, and events near you. We have partnerships worldwide, which actually allows us to show different things all around the world. And this is kind of one of the first things that we're doing is helping you find more fun and more dates and activities. Studies
Mm.
show that actually the single biggest indicator of a healthy relationship and the single biggest indicator on if you'll get divorced or not is actually if you go on a date once a week. That's all it is. If you go on date night once a week, you are statistically more likely to stay together. So that's why we focus on it.
And you're trying to make that easier for people.
We're trying to make that easier for people.
And
Exactly.
what have you found in the process? Because I imagine a lot of this is tried and these are tested hypotheses that sometimes don't work out. You've
Oh
got some
yeah.
insights about couples that you didn't know when you started out. When you deep dive into the world of couples, what have you discovered that has surprised you?
What's really surprised me is how everyone wants to do more with their partner but are afraid to say it at times. So it's different things of what do you want to do tonight? Where do you want to go? And it can get even deeper than that into intimacy and other things like that, where it's really exploring your sexuality with your partner. And a lot of people aren't comfortable with these simple things. And it's something where your partner is someone who you should share the closest bits of your life with. You should be comfortable sharing everything. Yet in today's day and age, with all these restrictions around privacy and all these concerns, people are nervous. And it's something that I never thought at the beginning, but they're nervous about a lot of things. And we're just really trying to make it easier for them to really have a better time and explore their lives with their partner.
Hmm. And why did you choose this, Zach? Why did you focus on partnerships and relationships as opposed to all the potential apps that you could have dived into sitting at the other side as a VC as well? You've seen plenty, I'm sure, pitches
Uh,
come your way.
as a VC, I was looking at hundreds of pitch decks a week. I quite literally did everything from cancer research to jetpacks. So I shared my fair share of different things. And what I realized was I was intrigued by this because there's nothing else out there like it. There's nothing else out there besides therapy that's for afterwards. You have an app on your phone from everything from one that helps you sleep to one that helps you work out to one to waste time on to another one to waste time on. But there's nothing for your relationships. And I think that's kind of strange because our relationships are some of the most important facets of our life, and there's something that really allow us to expand what we're doing. So I really wanted to focus on relationships, whether it be romantic or not, and explore those and build healthier, deeper relationships long term.
Do you feel that traditional social media has something to answer for example, Instagram and Facebook? Do you feel that those are really what we're up against? The social media that in some way impinges our relationships or impacts them in a negative way?
Without a doubt, I think we see a lot of toxicity with Instagram, the likes, and everything. And that's why my main goal and my main focus is not to be a social media company, but it's to be a relationship
Mm.
media company. And what I mean by that is by incorporating therapy and different aspects of kind of what we see in the real world into it. My goal is not to get you on the app 5 times a day and to hit that like button 300. My goal is to get you on the app once a day, once a week, and showing if you're feeling happier, getting you something new to do and getting you off the app. I don't need you to stay on the app for 6 hours a day for me to feel like a success. My goal is to get you to spend as little time on the app, but to maximize your happiness.
Hmm. But how does that then work in terms of your business model? How are you
So we,
monetizing that?
yeah, we make money in a lot of great ways. One being we actually have partnerships, like I said prior, where to you, the user, it's the same price, but we get commission on anywhere from 10 to 30% on each of these items. So we can actually sell a lot of our users any of these things, and it costs them nothing extra, and it keeps it all in the app. Additionally, we're going to be taking traditional gaming mechanisms that you see within a dating app, whether it be swipe limits, advertising, or whatnot. And then lastly, we have the ability to actually promote businesses in the app. We can show a specific restaurant to a group of people and actually kind of really push that restaurant in a specific city. And that's just another form of advertisement.
Hmm. Okay. And lastly, then, Zach, comparing life as a VC and as a startup
Yeah.
founder, for those VCs that sit across the table and maybe are living vicariously through the lives of their founders, what would you say to them?
Cut your founders a break and check in on them. I would say being a VC, I didn't truly understand to a degree what the founders went through. and now sitting on the other side of the table, it's really remarkable to see what goes on being a founder, the ups, the downs, the amount you tie your self-worth to your company, whether you want to or not. And I think that as VCs start to see this, to just check up on your founders and see if you can help in any way is massively beneficial for both of you.
You think VCs don't do enough of that?
I won't say that, but
We know it's the truth. I mean, I work a lot with VCs as well. So,
exactly.
and I think it goes with the model, obviously.
It does.
And a lot of them haven't. There are the VCs who were startup founders, obviously the Andreas and Horowitz type VCs, but
I mean,
generally,
you look at 776, and it's baked into their model that a percentage of whatever they invest goes directly to the founder's mental health. And I think over the course of their business, you're going to see that's going to do remarkably well, because you're going to have founders that are really putting themselves first. And when you do that, you really put your company first too, because if you're leading the company every day, you burning yourself out is not beneficial for you or the company.
Fantastic. Zac Stern, everybody. Where do we find out more, and your startup as well?
You can find me on Twitter, Stern Zac, STERNZAC, and then you can find us online, getofficial.co.
Fantastic. Zac, thanks for joining us on XL 10 Minute Leaders Live today.
Thank you so much for having me.